name's Jose, and this is going to be my math video project for applied calculus. Here is my ID. All right, let's get started. Okay, so to begin with this project, we have to get our numbers and enter them into our table. And to do that, we need to press the Stat button, press on Edit, and we need to enter our numbers, which I already did before. So now that we have our numbers, we can go ahead and press Stat again, press Calc. All right, and then we go down to Lin Reg for our first one. It already has L1 and L2 in there for the X and Y, so you go down to Calculate. And this will give us our equation, which will end up being Y equals 5.714 X plus 28.286. And then you kind of repeat this process for the rest of your functions. We'll go ahead and walk through them. So the next one is, go back to Stat, go back to Calc. Next one is quadratic. So we go down to Quadreg, click on that, press Calculate, and then it'll give you your numbers to form your equation. And pretty much it's going to keep using the numbers from the table to fill in your values. For exponential, we'll go to Stat again, go over to Calc, go down to exponential, Xreg, right here, enter, everything's good for that one, calculate. We'll give you your A and your B to help you form your equation. And then for our next one, I did for logarithmic, go to Stat, Calc, go to this one, enter, it's got your X and your Y lists, calculate, boom, there's your numbers. Next one is our sine or periodic. Go to Stat, Calc, and you're going to go all the way down to Sine Reg, enter. It's important to have this iterations as 3, which looks like it's the default, so we're all set. A, B, C, D. Perfect, that helps us form that equation. And then logistic, we'll go to Stat, Calc, go down to logistic, right here. And that's all good. We got our X and our Y list, calculate. This one kind of takes a minute to calculate. And then there is our numbers to put in the formula. So that is how I figured out these equations right here for number 1. On to number 2. So for number 2, we go into Desmos. And what we're going to do in Desmos is take these equations and plug them all into Desmos and compare our answers from our original calculator on our computer and see which 2 are different. There should only be 2 that are different. So to start off, we put our name and video project into Desmos, and then you put your table into Desmos and then you get started with your first equation. Okay, which is going to be y equals mx plus b, linear. And we found that, and I found that the numbers are the same for this one, so we go on to the next question. Plug in our formula, and it gave us the same numbers as our calculator. On to the next formula, and I found that the numbers were different. So we take our numbers from our calculator, plug those in as well, and we find our points on the graph right there, and we found that more of the points were closer to the Desmos graph compared to the graph made up by our calculator app. So therefore, the Desmos calculator was more accurate while creating this these numbers. Back to Desmos. Keep going with our process. So now we go on to logarithmic, and we plug in the numbers. We get the same numbers. So then we go on to sine, and we run into the same issue with sine, where we find different numbers. So what we had to do is we take our numbers from the other calculator, plug them into sine, and we get this. And we found out that more of the numbers are closer to the Desmos graph than our sine graph, which concludes that the Desmos graph is more accurate. Okay, on to number 3. Comparing the R2 values on Desmos, determine which model type is the best model for the data. And we concluded that on Desmos, we got the highest R on sine, or closest to 1. So therefore, sine is the best R.